So Rick Spielman, 10 years as a Viking GM. In that time, 4 NFC North titles and 6 playoff appearances. He signed, of course, Kirk Cousins. He is joining us live on a Monday after the draft. So I know, Rick, that people, Bill Belichick is on the Mount Rushmore. Like, I get it. But I've always had this thing. Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick. I don't want my coach to have too much influence. Being a general manager is a full-time job. It's really hard. And they've lost a lot of executives now and a lot of brain power over the last 7-8 years. And I watched this draft, and I love college football. Rick, I thought they reached for a lot of people. They're not a dynamic team. They need more speed. They didn't re-sign J.C. Jackson. I don't know. I didn't love their direction. Rick, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think everybody's going to look and they don't recognize the names of the players, but it's hard to question Bill Belichick. I mean, he may be the best, if not one of the best coaches that ever coached in the NFL, and he's always been in charge of that draft, whether they had Scott Pioli or Nick Caserio or whoever they've had there. He always had the final say in the draft. So they went and they have always gone beyond what the norm is or what the media expects them to do. Sometimes what other teams expect them to do, but they did add a lot of speed to this draft class, and then we have to wait and see how it plays out. So I know everybody wants to prejudge now, but if these guys end up becoming very good football players, then who cares what their name, if people recognize their names or not at this point.
What did you make? I like aggressive. I think aggressive teams are rewarded. You were aggressive with Kirk Cousins. You got to playoffs with him. The Eagles go out and trade for A.J. Brown. And to me, I'm like, well, Devontae Smith was a hit. So they're telling me, hey, if Jalen Hurts is the guy, we want to figure it out, whether he is or not, right? Like, that was my takeaway on their move. Your thoughts?
Right. Well, they were aggressive, and Howie's always been aggressive. And to go out and get an A.J. Brown, the thing that surprised me the most this draft is there were 2 players, veteran players, traded for first-round picks. So what that told me, being on the other side of this, was that there was a lot of pre-work done before the draft, whether they had talked and got permission to do the contract that Philly was able to do and Howie was able to do with A.J. Brown and his representatives. Did they get the physicals done, which I'm assuming they did before the draft? Because that's the only way I thought these trades could take place, or else you're taking a huge risk. If one of those players come in today or tomorrow, flunk the physical, then what do you got? But I think they are putting the pieces around Jalen Hurts to say that, okay, you've got your receiver. We hit on a receiver last year. You got A.J. Brown now. So now prove to us that you're our quarterback going forward into the future.
Was there a draft I always say, I want to be able to see a direction. If I can see where you're going, like I've been very critical of the Seahawks, but by getting 2 tackles, by getting a running back, what they're telling you is passing on a quarterback is, listen, we're going to go to the next draft and get our quarterback. We're going to build a little fortress here for the next kid. So he comes in with his tackles, his star running back. Like, I got that direction. I don't know if they had the best draft. Was there a draft or 2 you looked at and went, because you've been in this chair, that you went, wow, they got multiple starters?
Yeah, I thought the Baltimore Ravens knocked it out of the park. I thought the Kansas City Chiefs knocked it out of the park. And I thought both New York teams, the Jets and the Giants, took complete advantage of having 2 picks in the top 10 in the first round. And then the Jets being aggressive to come back and get a pass rusher who was the best pass rusher left on the board, and Jermaine Johnson from Florida State, to come and get him in the first round, also add a 5th-year option, and to end up with 3 picks that are going to be huge contributors to them in their rookie season. So I was very impressed with those 4 teams out of everyone I watched.
Explain. I like Malik Willis more, probably. The NFL general managers are telling you we see him as a complete, utter project. Okay, fine. Kenny Pickett. I see a guy with a low ceiling. What did you make of Pittsburgh taking him?
Well, Pittsburgh, I mean, they probably knew him the best out of anyone in the draft. I think after the draft, he moved his locker 20 feet, grabbed his stuff in his duffel bag, walked through the other side of the building, and right there was his new locker. But they had an opportunity probably to be around that kid more than any other NFL team. I mean, they saw him at practice. They can go across the hall and probably ask the coach how he's doing in meetings. They saw how he came to the facility every day. So when you share a facility with a college and you draft that quarterback, they probably have more insight than anyone. And I felt that Kenny Pickett was the most ready quarterback to come in and at least compete for a starting job. But he's also playing in a very familiar stadium. He played there for his whole career in college, where the Pittsburgh Steelers play as well. So there's not a lot of new for him when he comes into the league, just getting familiar with the new offensive system, but everything else is very familiar with him. So it should definitely make for a smooth transition.
I'm often critical of Aaron Rodgers, but the one thing I'll defend him on is the Packers draft well, but their drafts always feel like, to me, they're developmental drafts. And Aaron's saying, hey, get me players now. You know, I'm 38 years old. And I did think I loved their first pick, the linebacker from Georgia. He'll play immediately. And then a lot of
Wayne Walker.
Yeah, he will. I mean, good God, Georgia's defense is insane. But then the rest of the draft, Rick, it had a little developmental feel to it. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Even the wide receiver pick could be terrific, but he feels more like a developmental receiver. And that's where I think the rub is with Aaron. What did you see from their draft?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they really helped their team defensively and taking the two Georgia kids first. I think, they traded up, ironically, with the Minnesota Vikings in the division to go get Christian Watson, receiver from North Dakota State. And when you watch what he did at the combine, I don't believe there's any other receiver that tested out as well as he did. He's 6'4 plus, over 200 pounds, ran off the charts, jumped out of the gym, does everything from a physical testing standpoint that says he's going to be an all-star type receiver. When you watch him on tape, okay, he comes from a pretty heavy run-oriented offense.
Yeah.
He's going to need some route refinement. And the other thing that really, I guess, if you want to poke holes in the kid, is that he had some catchable passes, especially deep down the field. So if you're saying I've got Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers can help along with developing this kid, then they can potentially have a big hit here, because there was no question there were a lot of great receivers in this draft, but I don't know if anyone was as athletic or had a higher ceiling than this kid does if they hit on him. And if he doesn't pan out and he continues to drop passes, then, it's probably going to be considered not a good pick.
Yeah. Rick Spielman, 4 NFC North titles, 6 playoff appearances in 10 years. This stuff's so much fun for me. Rick, it's great seeing you again. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
You bet, Rick. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.